Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. We introduce you in the same way as we introduce the last people. Hear ye all of this. The Magnet Centre in the heart of Newry. We have Robert Crawford, Dean Fitzpatrick. We have Thomas Lynch from the Magnet. Winners in the Youth and Future Talent Awards in the section Creativity and Innovation. Guys, any one of you, what did you do to show creativity and innovation?
Well, all three of us were involved in, we got funding from the inclusion fund body from the SLB, and we created a piece that was to target homophobia and LGBT phobia. And we created a piece called Give It To Me Straight.
Yeah.
And we toured that around 6 locations, Lurgan, Cookstown, Armagh. We were actually, then our last show was in the Art Centre downstairs.
So what did you do? You conceived the show, you scripted the show, you acted the show. Is that it?
Yeah.
Basically, we did like interviews. What was it with the
Glennie in Belfast, Gay Lesbian Youth NI.
Yes. Yeah.
Thanks to Mark Brown.
So how did you present it? What was the format you used?
It was kind of like a.
Did you film it?
No, it was all live.
All
it was
live
performances. But it was like
way to have it.
Yeah. So you were live on the night at different locations.
All over Northern Ireland.
And you were bouncing off the audience. And there was nothing set up.
Oh no, we had our script and we had plenty of rehearsal and stuff like that. But it was about 20-25 minutes long in our longest performance. But it's all very attack. The idea is that it's like kind of a window into what young people in the LGBT community are facing whenever they're met by homophobia out there.
Okay, let's do a run on this. Let's have a go for this. I'm homophobic and I'm part of it. Now we'll improvise. You three are giving me the works because of this. I just don't understand them. I don't care about them. I don't want them in my community. Now come back at me. What would you? So from the drama, have a wee go.
We're still human beings. I mean, everybody should have the same
but I mean to say,
they don't understand you. They don't want you in their community.
Yeah. Why not? I'm a decent
In my hands is what Jesus said about gays.
What did he say?
Nothing.
But I see tracks and I see journeys that your hands are taking me on. I don't know. And is that a line from the thing? You believe this? That Jesus said nothing about them? Of course, it begs the real question. Jesus was surrounded by men. Was Jesus a homosexual?
And, well, really the whole thing of it is, why should it matter?
Why should it matter? That's at the core of the whole thing.
Why is it anyone else's business?
Yeah, my sexuality, nobody talks about it. Why does everybody talk about the sexuality of the lesbian and gay community? I don't know. Maybe it's because there is homophobia around.
I think that's what it is, and it might not even be spiteful homophobia, but it's just sort of you stereotype people and you just expect people to act in a certain way because of their gender or their sexual preference.
Is it not? I have heard so many human beings say, I've heard so many women say, they are lovely people, homosexuals and lesbians. By the way, I'm gay, but I'm not a homosexual. I take the name gay as happy, delighted, I'm gay. And I always refuse to call folk gay. I say they're homosexual, they're lesbian, and they are of the transgender thing, which I don't understand at all, by the way, but then someone helped me a wee bit with that. And it's the notion of, and it must be the most awful thing in the world, someone to be trapped in a body where they don't believe he or she belongs. And this happens. Is this happening in Newry at the moment?
Yeah, it happens to people everywhere. We don't really have personal experience. Well, like most of us didn't really have personal experience with it, so that's why we went out and conducted these interviews to get first-hand experience.
So what were you getting back from the interviews?
Some horrible stuff. But there were stories of like support from the community, but it was mostly because we wanted to center it around schools, because it was, well, this is what our young people are facing, and it mostly does come from schools. But things like a total stance away from the issue, that instead of actually addressing any kind of homophobia, just saying, well, there are no gay students at our school, so
we don't have... Is that happening?
Yeah, it does.
That's one of the stories that were told us.
No, none in our school.
That exact word.
That was
goodness gracious.
By Mark Brown, one of the guys that works in Glennie. He was the centre manager, I think.
Yeah.
He's a counsellor himself, and had literally heard a story that a kid was being bullied. He had his coursework destroyed, like, before it being submitted, was pretty much in a very, very bad way, called up Mark for a bit of counselling, and then Mark said, okay, I'm going to speak to the principal of the school, and the principal said, oh, that's a terrible situation, but I think you must have the wrong school. We don't have any gay students.
That inspired quite a big scene in the play.
Like
this was your inspiration.
Centerpiece
I got to play a homophobic principal. Yeah.
Wow, yeah. I can see you in that part. You know, you have a strength and a madness to you. I tell you. But listen to me. The awfulness then takes us down the road, and I don't know if you experienced it coming through to you in your research. The business of people who are gay, people who are homophobic, people who are gay, they're often driven to taking their own lives. Have you seen evidence of that in our community?
A lot of it. Like, there was a staggering amount of people that had turned to things like self-harm and had considered taking their own life, and it was because they thought there wasn't support out there, which I think is why, like, even if there's a couple of young people that see this piece, just to be like, okay, well, someone wants to do something, like somebody wants to show a little bit of support, or even just an appreciation for what it is that they're going through.
But is it, I'm just wondering about young people, their peers are gay, and young people who are not gay, but is there not within the bracket of youth a willingness to be understanding, a willingness to be friendly, a willingness to respect difference? Does that not exist in your experience?
I think like definitely it is, and like that was one of the reasons that we also invited parents and stuff like that, because we wanted to take people who sort of had a closed-minded stance of it and educate them whenever they didn't have personal experience with it whenever they were younger. But I think the problem is that it's actually coming from some of the older generations and just from like media to say like there is an issue here. When they're just creating one where there isn't.
You see, I'm old. I'm 70. And some of my very best friends, genuinely best friends, who I would enjoy having a meal with, who I'd enjoy having at my home for dinner, are of the gay community. Decent, good human beings. Now, if an old guy like me and old folk that I know around me, I know all of my friends would be very, very liberal and very non-homophobic. So where is it coming from? Is it parents who don't want to see it, don't like the...
It's of their choice, you know, like you'd see stuff in Russia where they're beating up people because they're gay.
I've seen this.
A lot of... Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's basically, it's not their fault. Well, it's their choice, but like, if they can't help it in a way.
They can't help being homophobic.
No, like
They can't help being homosexual. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's taken for granted. But do people not recognise that and respect that and give that credence?
There'll always be closed-minded people.
Yeah, it's like...
Regardless of if it's about sexuality or
well, you three now, we'll ask the three of you. There'll always be closed-minded people with closed minds. Not one of you has a closed mind. So what made you the person you are in terms of having an open mind, you and you? You first.
I don't know. I have red hair. I think is probably the best answer I could give you.
You started on the back foot to begin with. You're
See,
coming
well,
out.
you mean you gotta have a bit of respect for the underdogs.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is that they're
You're
being
just
put down
how
for.
can you be an underdog? You're descended from the Vikings, for God's sake.
I don't know.
With
Well,
red
people
hair.
don't like that. Well, I mean, like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it, and it's probably one of the things that I'm the most proud about. But there'll always be someone that'll go, that person is different for this reason. We should put them down.
Dean, what's made you strong and made you a liberal person?
Bullying throughout high school.
What? I wouldn't bully you. You're too big to bully.
I carry myself a lot taller than I used to.
Good man. That's what a lovely answer that is. I carry myself a lot taller than I used to. You know, bullying, that's good. That's good. But had it a serious effect on you at high school?
It did. It nearly broke me as a person.
Really? And why did they bully you? What were they talking about when they bullied you?
Going back to her.
Hair.
Curly hair. I look like your stereotypical nerd. I kept my head down in class, did my work, and whenever I was bullied, the teachers would ignore it because there were louder students in the class to look after.
Yeah. Did you not tell them, I'm sure you did, that Steve Jobs was a nerd, and that the people who created the internet were nerds, and the people who are going to places on... Nerd is another way of saying a finely focused intellect, and let's go for it.
I think that even if they had an iPhone in their hand, they would bully Steve Jobs right in front of them.
My goodness gracious, I tell you. Thomas, what made you the man you are?
Same story. I was bullied ferociously in Cork. That's where I was
Cork
born.
is such a lovely city. I love Cork.
I had a rubbish family.
Oh my goodness. You had a wee bit of difficulty.
Wee bit. Yeah, it was all because my disabilities and all that. Autism's, mental issues. And
I used to teach, I want to tell you this before you go any further. I used to teach people with Asperger's syndrome.
I have that.
It's they're the most wonderful people in the world. I taught Anthony Bannon, and Anthony, 5 years after he left my school, after I was teaching him, I was standing in the queue at Sainsbury's, and he said, Rowan, he remembered me 5 years down the road. He says, I have my degree. He went to university, got his degree, and he was delighted about it, you know.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, your Asperger's, how does it affect you?
It doesn't affect me as much as it used to, because when I was born, like, I couldn't walk or talk until I was like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And which had a big impact on my education skills, on my physical skills, on my social life.
Yeah.
And the way I saw the world, I just thought there was nothing but hate, you know.
Well, Thomas, I'm looking at you and listening to you now. I'm certainly looking at 3 admirable and strong young men, and you are on that triumvirate of strength. And whatever you've come through in the past, you've come through it very, very well indeed.
To be honest, I really don't know how I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's kind of like the fact I didn't even we didn't set it up. We promised that like the 3 of us are sort of people that have experienced bullying through our life.
And just you came together sort of...
I think it's that there. Yeah, it's kind of like
accidentally.
I don't know, you kind of have to take that burden, and you don't want someone else to have to put up with it, especially if it is something that is entirely not someone's choice. It's what you're born as.
Absolutely.
And something that you can't help, or you should even have to help. Yeah. And it's just sort of, we wanted to do something, got to do
Vive la différence. Let difference live forever. We like diversity. Let it be, you know. That's why the business of the last week or two with the First Minister talking about the Muslim people, you know, is appalling. But at least we got apologies there. So presumably you're all okay now. You're above, you've taken on the challenges and you've dealt with them. And you're well fit not to be bullied now, yes?
Well, life's a looming battle to be faced and fought.
Wow! What a speak. Life's a living battle.
A looming battle.
A looming battle.
To be faced and fought.
To be faced and fought. Looming battle. Life's a looming garden of peace and beautifulness to be embraced and enjoyed. That's a rather better one, is it? Maybe.
Well, I think mine's from Mary Poppins.
No, it's probably, that was nice. At least you're in there with that. But the innovation now. It's a creativity and innovation award. Where's the future going to take you?
Well, I think...
What's your best guesses?
Best guess? I'm going to keep doing drama in Belfast and then probably hand off the drama group to somebody else. Hey,
look at this.
No, Dean's been with us for I think all 4 of the shows that I did. Were you there for the Roses in December one?
No, I've been with you for
3 shows.
DNA and...
You were with us for the 25th anniversary show.
Oh yeah, I was.
Oh, you are.
Dean's with us for 3 shows. Thomas, this is the first show that Thomas was with us
My
for.
very first show of all time.
And it's award winning.
The man's very first show of all time. It's great fun. When will you come in here someday and do the show in here? There's an opportunity
I'm
for
not
you.
sure that all of the language involved would be appropriate to broadcast.
Ours is the art of the possible.
That's good.
And we'll not bleep you. And as long as it's within context,
Well,
then it'll be okay. And if it's not in context, then you can amend and do things, and we'll rock and roll with it.
Nothing is in there that shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Take the show or don't.
There's nothing that's in there that wasn't
Take it
based
or leave it.
entirely on the
Yeah.
fact and stories of what
Yeah.
other people saw and what they had to deal with. So
Yeah. Okay. Take the show or don't. There you are. That's me told off. Okay. You're bullying me. Boys, thank you very, very much indeed. I thank Robert Crawford. I thank
Absolute
Dean
pleasure.
Fitzpatrick. I thank Thomas Lynch. It's been my pleasure. It's been a privilege talking to the three of you. Thank you very much indeed for all you're doing.
Goodbye, Gadger.
Thank
you.